All right, Chrissy, thank you. The topic of Trump's impeachment, by the way, has been hitting headlines all across the country for the past 24 hours.
Political analyst Wendy Patrick, Laura Fink, they join us with more. Ladies, good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Sally.
Okay, I opened social media, I think it was sometime in the afternoon, and just one thing after another, I just started saying impeach, impeach, impeach. What happened yesterday? Laura?
Well, the appointment of the special prosecutor with Robert Mueller puts a focus once again on this case. All of the events of this week, from the revelations that Donald Trump did know that Michael Flynn was under FBI investigation and enabled him to be National Security Advisor, receiving confidential and classified information at the highest levels, and also that after firing James Comey, he had a meeting with the Russians where he doled out code word information, one of the highest levels of classification. All of this really put pressure on Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to switch course and, in fact, appoint a special counsel to do an independent investigation of potential Trump campaign ties to Russia.
Wendy, Republicans even beginning to talk about the possibility of impeachment. Why?
Well, I don't know why they're trying to talk about it now. I mean, many are calling this move Rosenstein's revenge, but it certainly isn't a step towards impeachment, so goes the argument. I mean, think about this. We just finished talking about Trump's first 100 days in office, and now we're using the I word. My San Diego State students think that means an incomplete grade. No, it stands for impeachment. We are nowhere near that conversation, but the appointment of the special counsel, really special prosecutor also, it's one and the same, might unearth investigation that leads there. Now, here's the interesting part about that. The special counsel hasn't been appointed to investigate why Trump fired Comey or what he knew or didn't know about General Flynn before making him National Security Advisor, but it could certainly lead there because it's investigating the Russian probe and all related matters. I mean, think about this. The Whitewater investigation into Bill Clinton led to the scandal with Monica Lewinsky. So this investigation could lead anywhere. And I got to tell you, it's probably only a matter of time. In other words, not if, but when it begins to encompass the events of the past week we've been talking about.
Okay, here's my question. It seems like no matter what comes up, and something has happened almost every single day, it seems like there's always an answer to it. There's always an explanation. The supporters are still in his corner, even though some Republicans are kind of shying away, saying that there's nothing wrong. Is this too much? Are they making a big thing about something that isn't a big deal? And are they after Trump saying it's a witch hunt? Trump said this is a witch hunt.
Well, there's a lot of evidence. Keep in mind, this is an independent agency.
There is evidence.
And so that we need to find out. Ultimately, it could happen that if there is no evidence of collusion, then all of this could go away. But the stonewalling on behalf of Trump and his administration, again, lead to more suspicions. So all of this needs to be investigated. Even reluctant Republicans spearheading committees on Capitol Hill are realizing this. This is incredibly serious business. And in fact, when he handed over that code word information, compromising one of our allies, compromising our fight with ISIS. That sent a ripple effect across the intelligence agencies and over to Capitol Hill. What you're talking about, Raul, with respect to Trump's approval rating, his supporters are still with him. However, as the evidence comes to the fore, that may change and that may begin to erode. And also the consciousness of several Republicans may be awakened, and where they realize that ultimately we're all wearing the same jersey, and we need to make sure that an outside threat to America does not affect our national security.
And Wendy, according to some reports, we're saying that some of the intel that the president gave was Israeli intel, and they asked the Israelis, and they didn't seem to have a problem with it. But so is that real, or is that just kind of playing the politics game?
Well, the reports were that the president didn't know where the intel came from either at the time that he shared it. Since then, we've heard conflicting reports about what Israel thinks about this, whether they still want to work together. Supposedly they do, which is great news. But Raul, you mentioned the term witch hunt, which is one of the terms and the main term that the president used in his tweet this morning. Remember, Laura reminded me in the green room, he hadn't tweeted for a period of about 36 hours. He broke his fast this morning with the tweet that you just mentioned. But we have to remember, given the fact that this investigation is continuing, this doesn't mean that the FBI investigation ends. All it means is that those agents have a new boss. And in continuing along the road they've already been on, they are going to be able to now even expand that further to, again, there's those buzzwords, all related matters. So I wouldn't be surprised if all of the topics we've just discussed come into the fore, maybe sooner rather than later. But We're not going to be able to expect any kind of weekly status updates. This FBI, the former FBI director Mueller, is well known for both his credentials and his credibility, and he's going to be keeping this a secret.
Ladies, before we let you go, I was trying to look for the exact comment, but I read somewhere this morning that Russian President Vladimir Putin said something to the sense of, in the U.S., we are having a little bit of a political paranoia. From what people are watching from the outside, other countries, other leaders, do you think that's what's really happening, Laura?
When all of the institutions of government are on all cylinders focused on a particular thing, and we see that we haven't even had time to talk about the judiciary, which there is a grand jury that has been impaneled to investigate General Flynn and Paul Manafort. Subpoenas have been issued. All of this cannot be dismissed as mere sound and fury. In fact, we have to take it seriously because we are seeing every branch of government, even the most political, now waking up to the fact that we need to get to the bottom of this. So from the international perspective, I think that a number of our allies were probably extremely chastened and worried when that code word information went out.
Wendy, I'll leave you with the final word.
Sure. As a prosecutor, I'm used to getting the last word, so this is great. I really believe that it depends to some extent on the kind of news coverage they are watching. In other words, there are dueling narratives surrounding all of the chaos that we've been talking about. Some people call it chaos, everything's out of control. Others say it's much ado about nothing, there's a lot of smoke, no fire. But remember, the appointment of Robert Mueller is to clear the smoke, to finally see what's there. One thing I want to leave you with is that is not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process. Many people are going to have some patience to make sure that he finds the facts to lead to the evidence that leads to the truth.
I want, if we can, one-word answers from here, because there is now an issue of confidence in the president, credibility. Is the damage already done? You say if they clear this up and everything's fine, is the damage already done? Laura?
Yes.
Wendy?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, I'll leave you with that. Laura and Wendy, thank you both for your expertise, as always.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Raul. Thanks, Shali.